Welcome to the Nursing Mother's Room, a podcast where we get real about all things motherhood. My name is Regina, and if you're listening to this, you're probably in the thick of it like I am. Whether you're rocking a baby to sleep, reheating your coffee for the third time, or just trying to find a moment for yourself. Wherever you are, I'm so glad you're here. I want to start this journey by sharing a little bit about why I felt the need to start this podcast. It actually starts with my own birth story, and it really begins with my own story. When my son was born, life turned upside down in the most beautiful and challenging way possible. I went into labor at 34 weeks, and by the grace of God, after 35 long hours of labor, he ended up being born at 35 weeks, which was just enough to have him avoid being in the NICU. Because of that, he ended up being born on our very first wedding anniversary. And we ended up staying up an extra week in the hospital because he had jaundice and needed to be under light therapy. By the time we got home, I was just ready to leave that tiny hospital room behind and start this new season with my husband and son. But the reality of those early days hit me harder than I ever imagined. I was happy to be home, but I was drowning in anxiety. I couldn't put him down without feeling like something bad was going to happen. Even naps felt terrifying. I wanted to protect him from everything, and it was exhausting. Sleepless nights blurred together, and I felt so alone, even with my husband right there next to me. It felt like I was living in the trenches, and I wondered if there was anybody else who understood what I was going through. Thankfully, God placed other moms around me who reminded me that these emotions and hormones were valid, that I needed to trust the Lord with my son's life. They reminded me that God loved him more than I ever could. And little by little, I started to feel like myself again. I started to breathe again. I started to feel a little bit more like myself. But it wasn't easy. Between working at church, running my own business, and taking care of a newborn, I was overwhelmed. And here's the thing. I was lucky. I had community. Moms from church, friends from back home in California. My own mom and sister lived close by. But I realized so many women don't have the kind of support that I do. And that's what made me want to create this space. Because no mom should ever feel like she's alone in those trenches. Over the past year, I've spent more Sundays in the Nursing Mother's Room than I can count. And for a while, I hated it. It felt like I was missing out on the sermon, worship, and the big moments that everybody else got to be a part of. But something happened in that little room. I started having conversations with other moms that were honest, raw, stories of sleepless nights, feeling unseen, marriages struggling under the weight of exhaustion. And in those moments, I realized I wasn't missing God. I was meeting him right there in the middle of the mess and the vulnerability. And that's how the Nursing Mother's Room was born. So here's what you can expect moving forward. We're going to talk about everything. From the postpartum season, the physical recovery, the emotional toll, the anxiety, the joy of raising tiny humans. We'll talk about marriages, the exhaustion, the excitement, and the moments that make it all worth it. Some episodes will be just me, sharing what's on my heart. Others will feature experts, like lactation consultants, sleep coaches, therapists, and seasoned moms who've been in the trenches, who have a lot of wisdom to share. But more than anything, I want this podcast to be a community, a space where we lift each other up. I want to hear from you, your stories, your questions, your victories, because we need each other. If this resonated with you, if you've ever felt unseen or overwhelmed in motherhood, I hope you'll stick around. Subscribe to the podcast, share it with a friend, and join in on the conversation on social media. And if this message today spoke to you, I'd love to hear your story. Send me a message. Let me know you're out there listening, because I see you, mama. You're not alone. Until next time, take a deep breath, give yourself some grace, and know that you're doing a beautiful job. And I'll see you soon, right here in the Nursing Mother's Room.